What is good back here? Another YouTuber video, and in case you cannot tell by the title below, this video will be a video where I share my initial thoughts and reaction to Cleveland, Ohio. I don't know what the stadium's called, I apologize, but where that NFL team for Cleveland plays is hosting SummerSlam 2024. Would love to know what your thoughts are on this, especially if you live in Cleveland or the state of Ohio. And if you live in Cleveland or at least been there, what are some stuff to do for a hypothetical Canadian that might be there when SummerSlam rolls around? But either way, for myself personally, I don't know for sure if Cleveland has hosted a SummerSlam before. I want to say no, not off the top of my head at least. But they've probably held pay-per-views before, I assume so, because granted, Cleveland is not necessarily the biggest city within the US, but it is a big enough city that I just assumed that it would. But yeah, when it comes to Cleveland hosting SummerSlam, it is, not gonna lie, kinda, sorta, somewhat tempting in the fact that if the borders are smooth, nobody's there, you can go straight through. It's about a 6-hour drive from where I live, 5.5, 6 hours, depending on traffic, to Cleveland, like the city limits. So it's not too terribly close, especially considering the border, but it's not too terribly far either. But yeah, for myself personally, Cleveland, again, not necessarily the first city I would have picked, probably would have preferred it somewhere international. Not saying Canada being biased, kind of deal, but I'm pretty sure, no, SummerSlam was in Detroit last year, but Money in the Bank was in London, and I really like that. They have the show in Berlin at the end of August. That one's probably going to be a good crowd. Puerto Rico last year, Montreal last year. I was kind of hoping, or at least expecting, for nothing against Cleveland, but whenever I think of Cleveland, I don't necessarily think of a wrestling city kind of deal, but I'm sure with it being SummerSlam at that football stadium, there's going to be people flying in from all over and probably driving over, considering how somewhat close it is to the Canadian-US border, kind of deal. But yeah, would love to know what your thoughts are, especially if you live in or around Cleveland, or at least the state of Ohio. Would love to know what your thoughts are on it down in the comments below. While you are down there, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it would mean a lot to myself if you did. More importantly, hope you guys are doing okay mentally, emotionally, and physically.
The world that we tend to make up is nothing but a fantasy until you wake up. I feel like I'm just lying to myself, yeah. Cause I just crossed the line like I'm playing offside. Do it how I want and I'ma do it till I die. Feel like I'm just lying to myself, but it's